Why do people go to India to find themselves? That's a question we're going to be exploring in this video. Stay tuned. Quick disclaimer, I'm not going to teach you how to find yourself. I understand that that's a very personal journey, and I'm not a spiritual guru or life coach. However, that is a question that I was asking myself, and India played a key part in me answering that question in a way that made sense to me. The Vedas were first passed down orally, but were eventually written down, and no one knows the exact date that they were written down, but it's thought to be 1500 and 1000 years before Christ appeared on the scene. The Vedas are kind of like the Bible for Hindus. It's the main spiritual text people are referring to. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the Vedas, but what I do know is that the Vedas has a big impact on modern day India. It impacted the Buddha as well many, many centuries ago. It also impacted the writing of the Upanishads, which is a similar ancient spiritual text. Quick interruption, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. I share India travel tips and share travel videos to inspire you and help you if you're planning a trip to India. The Upanishads means to sit down near an enlightened teacher. The authors of the Upanishads were asking questions such as, who am I? How can I find myself? What is the meaning of life? What happens after death? What is the secret of happiness? What is the nature of reality? When I say I, what do I really mean? The Upanishads were written by these scientific philosopher, spiritual gurus, and they recorded what they found. They were doing experiments into the nature of reality. The Upanishads were written about 800 to 500 years before Christ. They are thought to be the oldest philosophical system in the world. The Upanishads influenced Western philosophers such as Arthur Schopenhauer, who wrote about this theory of philosophical pessimism. Basically, that the world is suffering, that the world is illusion. This is similar to the Hindu premise that the world is illusion or Maya. This is similar to the Buddhist thinking that says life consists of pain and suffering. It's a very happy scripture, wouldn't you say? Schopenhauer's work later influenced Nietzsche, Tolstoy, and Einstein. Hindus believe that the self is in every living being and that self-awareness is a worthy aim. Meditation is prescribed as one way someone can be more self-aware. Hinduism is the most popular religion in India. There are 1.02 billion Hindus, and they make up 85% of India's population. However, there are 9 practicing religions. With this vast and diverse population, there's this live and let live philosophy that underlines how people approach their life. The word yoga was first recorded in the Rig Veda. It is one of the oldest of the ancient scriptures and thought to have been developed over 5,000 years ago. The purpose of yoga is to train the mind and the body to observe the self. Yoga was often mentioned in the Upanishads as well. The priests, Brahmins, and mystics often used yoga as the method for self-experimentation and to attain self-knowledge. The Upanishads taught to transcend the ego by understanding yourself. Ayurveda also originated in India 6,000 years ago and means a knowledge of life and health. Practitioners look at the individual nature of someone they're trying to heal and look for a specific cure for that one person. It seems reasonable to conclude that having a knowledge of self would be helpful to practice Ayurveda successfully. Today, popular books like Eat, Pray, Love describe characters who are seeking to find themselves. Eat, Pray, Loved gained so much popularity. There were even tours based on the book. The Eat, Pray, Love tour you could go to an ashram, show you the spiritual heart of India, and of course pay $1,000 for that privilege. Some were $5,000, maybe even more. I also think that the difference of India's culture is helpful to gain self-knowledge because India's culture is so different from Western cultures like the American culture where I grew up. I think that's also helpful to gaining self-knowledge. If I had never traveled, it would be impossible for me to know what ideas came from my own head and what ideas came from the culture. By traveling and being surrounded by people who grew up in a totally different culture, it's easier to see how my own culture has influenced me and how certain ideas and beliefs that I had weren't mine at all, but were simply the ideas and beliefs of the culture that I came from. If you're looking to find yourself, maybe India can help you answer that question. However, I do want to state that I don't think it's necessary. Traveling in India is not going to be a miracle cure to help you be happy, to help you find peace, to help you be enlightened. You can do all of that on your own. However, if you want to come to India to answer those questions, do it. It's a lot of fun.
This time we feel happy.
Yeah.
Because of him,
Yes.
we are happy because of him only. Happy from there.
For me, coming to India didn't make it easier to answer this question, who am I? I know that I could have answered this question for myself, living where I lived in Texas or Michigan or the US or some other country if I wanted to go there. But I wanted to come to India and it's been a lot of fun.
When we think about him, happy. When we cannot think about him, sorrow. So we have to be always happy. Then going to him. Namah Shivaya.
I did a lot of research for this video. However, this is just my opinion and what I've learned. If you were to look into these questions for yourself, you might have different answers that could be just as helpful or more helpful to you.
Nannari avad Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya தழுவிய மாதோர் பாகத்தன் பூப்பினை திருந்தடி பொருந்த கைதொழ நாப்பினை தளி